Hey everybody, I'm Ted from Tebex. In this tutorial, we are setting up our own Minecraft cross-platform server. So both Bedrock and Java clients can connect to the same server and play together. Once we have our Java server running, we will install Spigot so that we can run plugins. Once we have that working, we will add and configure the Geyser MC plugin and test if we can actually connect using Bedrock and Java. Then we'll quickly dive into Tebex to see what kind of settings we need to use to make sure that you can still offer your packages. So let's dive right in. First, we have to download the Minecraft server file from the official Minecraft website. And the link will be in the description. I already made a folder on my desktop and I'm just going to drag it in there. Then the first time we run it, it shouldn't really open up, but it will create some files. For me, it doesn't really show those files, so I have to press F5 to refresh the folder or just close and open up the folder again. We then open up the EULA and it says, by changing the setting below to true, you are indicating your agreement to our EULA. And this is the end user license agreement, which you can read over here. So all we have to do to start our server is change false to true, save it, and then close it. And now if we double click it, it should open up. And here you can see that our server is now booting up. If you don't get a screen, make sure that you have Java runtime installed, and then this should pop up after changing the EULA. In the most simple form, this is all you have to do to start a Minecraft server. So we should already be able to connect to this. Let's quickly test this. So we're going to start up the Minecraft launcher, make sure that we have the latest release selected, and then just click on play. If this is your first time hosting a server, it's not port forwarded. Currently, only you can connect to your server. I will not go into depth into how to port forward. There are tons of tutorials out there. Just Google around or search on YouTube and 100% you will be able to find a guide. Let's go to multiplayer, direct connect, and type in 1.7.0.0.1. And then we need to have the port, which is 25565. And then we can join the server. So our normal vanilla Minecraft server is already running. So now let's add Spigot. I will be using PaperMC, which is a light version of Spigot. Going to papermc.io, clicking on downloads. This is where we can download our paper server. I'm going to download the newest version. So I'm just going to click the big blue button. Once it's done downloading, I'm just going to drag it into the same folder. Let's press F5 to refresh the folder again, because it should have created a world folder as well. And then instead of running the server file, we're just going to directly run the paper file. This should do everything for us and create a plugins folder, which we can then put our Geyser MC plugin into. So here it is, Minecraft server. So when we refresh, you can see it added more folders. And the most interesting for us is the plugins folder. So let's open this up and then actually stop our server. We go to geysermc.org and then we can download Geyser. And we want the Spigot version. Paper is a lighter version of Spigot. And then once it's done downloading, just drag it into your plugins folder. If we restart our server using the paper start file or jar file, it should automatically load Geyser. Here we can see loading Geyser Spigot. So then if we go into the plugins folder, we can see that there is now a Geyser Spigot folder. Using the same Geyser MC website, let's also download Floodgate. Scroll down, click on download, and then again download the Spigot version. Floodgate is a way of authenticating all players, and we're going to use this to make sure that everybody is able to connect to our server. Yes, you can add all the files at once, but I don't want to overcomplicate things, so I just did it one by one. But you can add all the plugins at once and just start the server once. Let's close the server because we need to change some settings. Let's go into plugins and then let's go into Geyser Spigot and open up the config file. And then where it says auth type, we are going to set it to Floodgate. So let's copy this, change online to Floodgate. And here you can also take note of the port for Bedrock. And if you want to, you can also change your message of the day. This is all we're going to do at the moment. So let's save this and then close this. Let's go into Floodgate and then open up the config as well. If you want to, you can change the Bedrock player's prefix over here. I'm going to leave this as a dot for now. The following value should point to the key Floodgate generated. And we have key.pem. I didn't change anything. So we're going to copy this and then paste it inside of our Geyser plugin folder. It should automatically detect it, but I had some issues with this, so this is what was recommended online. Let's start the server and see if we can connect using Java. I'm connected on Java, no issues, everything is working perfect. So let's switch over to Bedrock and you'll see that it gives us an error message. So let's start up our Bedrock client. That's over here. Go over to servers, add your server and fill in the information. So same IP, but the port is different. And you can find that port inside of that config file that I showed you earlier. Missing profile public key. The server requires secure profiles. So if your players actually own the Bedrock version, they should be able to connect if you leave secure profiles on. In our case, I will disable secure profiles. So I closed my server and then inside of our main server folder, I'm going to open up the server properties source file, force secure profile. So I'll just change this to false, save it, close it, and then simply restart the server by double clicking the paper jar file. Geyser started, Floodgate started. So now we should be able to click join server. This is not my server. Save and quit. What did I click? I was like, this doesn't look good. Local, join server, and now it should work. If we go back to our Java client and connect. And as you can see, I'm now connected using my Bedrock client and my Java client to the same server. I cannot really run around at the same time, but believe me, this is actually working. As you can see, I also have a dot on my name. And that is for everyone that is using Bedrock. It will automatically add that dot. If you want to change the dot, for example, to an underscore or something else, you can use the Floodgate configuration file that I showed earlier. Once again, if this is your first time hosting a server locally, you have to port forward. Otherwise, only you are able to connect on your own computer, or if you have friends on your local network, those should also be able to connect, but nobody on the internet is able to connect to your server. Go to YouTube, Google, and search for port forwarding Minecraft, or even better, port forwarding Geyser. That way you can also port forward for Bedrock. And once you have that all set up, you can just test it using your public IP. And if that works, everybody else should be able to connect. Let's dive into Tebex. Let's see what kind of store type we need to choose and also what kind of variables we have to use to make sure that everything is still working. When creating a new web store on Tebex, make sure you choose Minecraft offline/Geyser. If you choose Bedrock, only Bedrock players will be able to buy something. If you choose Java Edition, only Java will be able to buy stuff. So make sure you choose offline if you have your own way of authenticating, for example, using Geyser or Floodgate. After filling in our basic information like store name, it then tells us to download the Tebex plugin, place it into our plugins folder, and then paste our secret key. So once again, we're going for the Spigot version since we're running paper. Let's go back to our plugins folder. And then after the download is finished, just drag it into your plugins folder. Let's go back and start up our server again using the paper executable jar. And let's see if we get a message that indeed it's started, enabling Bycraft X. Let's reconnect to our server. Make sure everything is still working. Everything is fine. Let's copy the secret key on the server, just paste it in here and press enter. It says this server is now registered as server Geyser Tebex, which is the name that I gave my store. On the top right on Tebex, you can see that our server is now also connected. So let's click continue. On the dashboard, double check if it says offline Geyser. If so, go into packages and then let's create our first package. So I gave it a name, simple description, selected the category, and also set the price to 0 because I want to claim it for free to show that it's working. Then let's add a game server command. Let's select our server, which we just connected, Geyser Tebex, and then let's add our first command. So when the package is purchased, what do we want to happen? We want to give the player, and we have to use the exact username, make sure that if they're using Bedrock, that they add the dot in front of their name. My Minecraft name is Tebex Academy. It might be very simple for me to just fill in Tebex Academy and forget that I'm actually on Bedrock. And with our Floodgate configuration, it will automatically add that dot and it will not work. So tell your players, you can put it in the description of your packages, that if they're using Bedrock, that they have to add the dot or whatever prefix you configured inside of your Floodgate configuration. Make sure that you select the username variable, and in this case, not the ID variable. Under settings, I'm going to change it to execute even if the player is offline. Choose whatever option suits you best. So that should be all. Let's do create. Let's view our web store and let's quickly claim that package. Gold block, add to basket, fill in my username, Tebex Academy, click on continue, and then proceed to checkout. Agree to the terms and condition and also the privacy policy, and then let's complete our order. It was pretty quick. So let's refresh. You can see it's already processed. Let's see if we actually got our blocks. Yes, we did. Let's also quickly do this for Bedrock. So first of all, I'm going to connect again. I'm going to say hello, and you can see here that it says my name. It's a little bit of a weird name. This is automatically what Microsoft assigned to me. So I'm just going to move this to my second screen so I can exactly copy this. Make sure, once again, you tell your players to exactly fill in their username with the dot 67714. Let's click on continue, agree, and complete the order. Let's give Tebex a moment, and then let's see if we get our gold blocks. And there we go. We just got our blocks. So if we refresh this, just like before, it should now be processed. So just like before, everything is working as expected, both on Java and on Bedrock. That wasn't close enough. I want to give all the blocks to my main account. But no gold for you, just for him. Hopefully this was helpful. If anything is unclear, you can always leave a comment down below. And as always, thank you for watching and good luck with your Tebex store.